Rolling.
Hi,
Excellent.
welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hi there. I'm Scott Schweitzer. I work for a company called Birds and Animals Unlimited. We're one of the largest animal training companies in the business. And when I say business, I mean the movie business. We train animals for television and movies. Um, One of the other things that we do is we train animals for the shows at Universal Studios. So there's two animal shows. There's one in Florida and there's one in California. And we have the animals that work in those shows. One of the things is those shows contain a lot of dogs, and we do a lot of dog training. So getting a dog to work every day in and day out, on doing the same behaviors, it can be a little bit difficult.
What do you think the benefits of using biljac treats on a daily training basis with dogs?
One thing about biljac treats is dogs never get tired of the biljac treat. One of the other benefits of it is that there's more than one, and so you can use one, and if things start to get a little bit I don't want to say boring, but if they get a little bit accustomed to that one, you can switch to the other one. And I find that in my business that with the variety is sometimes the best success.
Popped out.
One of the cool things that we get to do is we get to go to a lot of really cool places when we do these movies. And I did this movie called Eight Below, and we were up in the middle of Canada on top of a mountain, super cold. We were training huskies, and towards the end of the movie, there's this huge scene where most of them come running back. I don't want to spoil it for anybody if you haven't seen the movie yet, but if they come running back up over the top of the mountain, and it's a real long run. It's probably 2 football fields, and the production company went out and got a snowmobile that had a gimbal on it that kept the camera steady, and it was supposed to be able to go 70 miles an hour. And we ran those dogs down that hill. Now, huskies, if anybody knows huskies, they have all the energy in the world. They dug it, and we probably ran those things for 3 hours in between takes. You walk them back up the hill, they get calm and rested, and then boom, you go again. And that long of a run, you really need something at the end for it to be a payoff. And so in comes biljac treats, and the smell of a biljac treat on top of a mountain is just too irresistible for a husky, I believe. Okay, some of the health benefits about biljac dog food. This is a personal story that happened to us. We did a movie called Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and we filmed it down in Mexico. And Disney challenged us with, they wanted authentic Mexican street dogs in the background. And so going down there, we found that the care of Mexican street dogs isn't what you would hope it would be. And so we rounded up, basically, a number of Mexican street dogs. And we took them back to our compound, and we immediately put them on biljac dog food. And I've never seen dogs transform like I did in those 2-3 weeks. This guy, when we got him, this guy was one of those dogs, and his name's Kato. And when we found him on the streets of Mexico City, he had no hair on his head, none whatsoever. He was lethargic. He was ribs were showing, the whole 9 yards. This guy, he must be living a charmed life. He went basically from the streets of Mexico to working in Hollywood. He's done 2 or 3 major movies. He's done a couple of commercials and campaigns. But he's a funny dog. He lives here at the house. He's one of my dogs. We were able to bring back about 20 of the dogs that we used and place them in homes. And that's some of the benefits. That's the major big benefit that I saw from biljac dog food. Now, our company uses biljac dog treats, and we don't just use biljac dog treats. We also use biljac dog food. And the reason that we use biljac dog food is the amount of protein that they put into it and the amount of good protein that they put into it. Let's face it, no matter how much we want our dogs to eat like us, or we believe that they need the same foods that we do, the reality is that they're carnivores. And being carnivores, they need a certain amount of protein. And that's one of the things that biljac does so well. Um, they locally source their chicken from sources that are 100 miles, within 100 miles of their factories. Let's face it, no matter how much we want to believe that our dogs are eating or need to eat the same things that we need to eat, they're carnivores. And in that being said, biljac uses locally sourced chicken to make their dog food. They slow cook the chicken, they slow cook the chicken, which retains all the protein.
How much chicken do they actually use per bag?
You know, that's one of the things, that's one of the great things about biljac is they're not afraid to put how much protein they actually, they're not afraid. That's one of the great things about biljac. They're not afraid to put how much chicken they put in that bag of dog food right on the dog bag.
What are some of the other ingredients?
So, how do you help people? How is this going to help you in your job? And the easy answer to that is it's going to keep the dog interested in what you guys are doing. Now, I think we'll all agree that it's pretty easy to train the dog. It's a lot more difficult to train the people. So if you can keep the dog interested over that hour that you have, or the 30 minutes that you get, and you can get those people to feel as though they're making progress, that's the win. That's the situation that's going to help you out.
What's the difference of biljac dog food versus the others?
The big difference between biljac and other dog foods is the amount of protein that they use in their dog food. Let's be honest, no matter how much we want our dogs to have the same diet that we do, the reality is that they're carnivores. And being a carnivore, they need a certain amount of protein. And biljac is not afraid to tell you how much protein they're putting it on the bag. They'll tell you exactly how much protein they put in that bag. The other thing is that they used locally sourced farm fresh chicken that's raised within 100 miles of their factory. Just the facts. Just the facts about biljac dog food. Number 1, it's made in the USA. Number 2, locally sourced chicken. Number 3, they put how much chicken they put in the bag, right on the bag. So if they've got a 6-pound bag of dog food, it's got 5 pounds of chicken in it. And no fillers. Hi, my name's Scott Schweitzer, and I work for a company called Birds and Animals Unlimited. We train animals for movie production work. We're one of the largest animal training companies in the business. Some of the movies that we've done are all the Harry Potters. We did 101, 102 Dalmatians. Far back, long ago, Lady Hawk, one of my favorites. We've done Hotel for Dogs, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, 8 Below. So you get the idea. We've trained a lot of animals for a lot of movies. Okay, I don't know if you're actually going to be able to use this, but I'm going to relay a story to you that happened to us in our company. My boss got a call, Gary Giroux, got a call from the federal government after Katrina went through New Orleans and Mississippi. And they needed people that knew how to handle exotic animals, everything from dogs to, alligators and exotic birds, because of the total destruction that happened, and people had to leave. They left their pets behind. They didn't leave soon enough, or whatever the situations were. They asked if Gary could supply some of us who have that kind of knowledge on how to handle that kind of stuff to come in and help them out. And when we got there, we basically arrived 3 days after the storm hit. And one of the things that we saw immediately was that the dogs packed up. They became packs almost immediately. One of the other things that we saw was that uh, once we caught the dogs and once we started getting them to the right places, the shelters that weren't damaged, the inundation of dogs coming in, they couldn't handle the influx of the dogs coming in. And so what happened was they didn't have enough dog food. And because of our relationship with biljac, my boss called biljac, and literally within 13 to, I don't know, 20 hours, there was a truckload of dog food sitting in front of the the shelter. And I think that says a little bit something about a company that, will just, without question, do something like that.